Upgraded SpaceX Falcon 9 blasts off with Thaicom 8 communications satellite on May 27, 2016 from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, FL. First stage booster landed safely at sea minutes later. Credit Ken Kremer and Creamer.com. Kennedy Space Center, FL. A very busy and momentous December is ahead for SpaceX workers on Florida's Space Coast as the company plans to reactivate the firm's heavily damaged Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral for a NASA resupply mission liftoff in early December while simultaneously aiming for a year-end maiden launch of the oft-delayed Falcon Heavy rocket from NASA's historic Pad 39A. NASA and SpaceX announced that the next SpaceX commercial cargo resupply services mission to the International Space Station ISS will launch from Space Launch Complex 40 SLC-40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station CCAFS in Florida in December. The Falcon Heavy, once operational, will be the most powerful rocket in the world. Credit SpaceX. The launch of the SpaceX Falcon 9 carrying the SpaceX Dragon CRS-13 cargo freighter to the orbiting outpost for NASA will be the first this year from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station CCAFS in Florida. Pad 40 was severely damaged in Sept. 2016 during a catastrophic launch pad explosion of the Falcon 9 during a fueling test that concurrently completely consumed the Israeli AMOS-6 communications satellite bolted on top of the second stage during the planned static hot fire test. Aerial view of pad and strong back damage at SpaceX Launch Complex 40 as seen from the VAB roof on September 8, 2016 after fueling test explosion destroyed the Falcon 9 rocket and AMOS-6 payload at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, FL on September 1, 2016. Credit Ken Kremer and Creamer.com. Since September 2016, all SpaceX launches from Florida have taken place from NASA's Launch Complex 39ALC-39A on the Kennedy Space Center. And all hot fire tests have been conducted minus the expensive payload on top to keep them safe in case of a repeat explosion. A successful restoration of Pad 40 for launch services is one of the critical prerequisites that must be achieved before paving the path to the inaugural blastoff of SpaceX triple-barreled Falcon Heavy booster from Pad 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Blastoff of SpaceX Dragon CRS-12 on its 12th resupply mission to the International Space Station from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 12:31 p.m. EDT on Monday, August 14, 2017 as seen from the VAB roof. Credit Ken Kremer and Creamer.com. So if all goes well, SpaceX will have two operational launch pads at Florida's Spaceport, one at KSC and one at the Cape. They also have a pad in California at Vandenberg AFB. Thus, SpaceX could ramp up their already impressive 2017 launch pace of 16 rocket launches so far through the end of October. An artist's illustration of the Falcon Heavy rocket. Image SpaceX is targeting late December for liftoff of the mammoth Falcon Heavy on its debut flight to achieve CEO Elon Musk's stated goal of launching Falcon Heavy in 2017. The Falcon Heavy launch could come around December 29, sources say. But the late December Falcon Heavy launch date is dependent on placing Pad 40 back in service with a fully successful NASA cargo mission, finishing upgrades to Pad 39A for the Heavy as well as completing the rocket integration of 3 Falcon 9 cores and launch pad preparations. Furthermore, SpaceX engineers must carry out a successful static fire test of the Falcon Heavy sporting a total of 27 Merlin 1D engines, 9 engines apiece from each of the 3 Falcon 9 cores. Both of the Falcon 9 side cores will be outfitted with nose cones on top in place of a payload and they have been spotted being processed inside the huge processing hangar just outside the Pad 39A perimeter fence at the bottom of the ramp. Both of the side cores are also recycled boosters that will be launched for the second time each. SpaceX originally hoped to launch Falcon Heavy in 2013, said Musk. But he also said the task was way more challenging than originally believed during a KSC post-launch press conference in March 2017 following the first reuse of a liquid-fueled booster during the SES-10 mission for SES that launched from Pad 39A. Former Space Shuttle and Apollo Saturn launch Pad 39A was only reactivated this year by SpaceX for Falcon 9 launches. SpaceX most recently launched the KoreaSat 5A telecomsat on October 30 from Pad 39A. Plus the first stage booster was successfully recovered after a soft landing on a platform at sea and the booster floated back in town last Thursday, as eyewitnessed and reported here. The uncrewed Dragon cargo spacecraft launch on the CRS-13 mission is also a recycled Dragon. It preciously was flown on SpaceX's 6th commercial resupply mission to station for NASA. Rocket recycling is a feat straight out of science fiction. It's the key part of SpaceX CEO Elon Musk's stated goal of drastically slashing the high cost of access to space. Chart comparing SpaceX Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Credit SpaceX. An orbital ATK Cygnus cargo ship is slated to launch on November 11 from NASA Wallops Flight Facility on Virginia's eastern shore. Watch for Ken's continuing on-site NASA mission reports direct from the Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida. Stay tuned here for Ken's continuing Earth and planetary science and human spaceflight news. Ken Kramer. SpaceX Falcon 9 set to deliver JCSAT-16 Japanese communications satellite to orbit on August 14, 2016 from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, FL. Credit Ken Kramer. CanCramer.com. Launch of SpaceX Falcon 9 carrying JCSAT-16 Japanese communications satellite to orbit on August 14, 2016 at 1:26 a.m. EDT from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, FL. Credit Ken Kramer. CanCramer.com. AMOS-6, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Cargo Dragon, Commercial Resupply Services CRS, Elon Musk, Falcon 9 Recovery, Falcon Heavy Rocket, International Space Station ISS, Kennedy Space Center, KoreaSat 58, KSC, Launch Complex 39A, NASA, Pad 39A, Recycled Dragon, Recycled Falcon 9, SLC 40, SpaceX.